welcome back to my channel. I'm Kat, your guide through the seen and the unseen. Today we're tapping into the energies and seeing what spirit messages spirit has to bring to us. Take a deep breath, settle in, and let's see what the universe is trying to tell you. Also, if you're a soul seeking deeper alignment, make sure to join our community by subscribing. So I have a couple of new spreads that I wanted to share. I want to try out and see. I tried them yesterday, but not recorded. I didn't record anything, but just on my own for myself and just to see how it worked out. So I kind of liked it, but I just want to get an oracle message first, and then we'll see what's happening. All right, sunshine. So we got that one a couple days ago, I think. I don't know if I posted that one, and we have honor the journey. It says, sunshine, light, passion, illumination, motivation, don't dim. And so don't dim. Are you dimming? Honor the journey. Don't rush. Experience life. Respect others and allow messes. So something about being messy. Sometimes, with ADHD, sometimes I leave the dishes. Sometimes I'll just rinse them off and put them in the sink, and sometimes I ain't got time. Or sometimes I'll leave my laundry in the basket, I allow the mess sometimes, because, man, who got time for all that? Sometimes I need to rest, and sometimes that's okay, sometimes you need rest. All right, let's see. Let's get affirmation. I've been doing these lately because I've been liking the vibe. So let's see. Honor the journey. So there may be something about shining your light, being there may be something that you're creating as well that you're needing to not be so hard on yourself and just allow kind of that authentic flow in some way. There's something about seeing the light in all things and not just oh, it has to be this certain way, Turn the path of desire, which for most people is focused on worldly things, and redirect it to higher plane. And I do not measure myself by any external standard. The flow of life's abundance brings me everything. And so that's important. Do not measure myself by any external standard. The flow of life's abundance brings me everything. Yes. Didn't I say that just now? Something about flowing. Yeah, with the creativity. Turn the path of desire, which for the most people it's focused on worldly things, redirected to a higher plane. So the higher self, the higher understanding, the higher perspectives. I take a creative attitude toward my own inner growth. The universe is aware of my needs, and I will wait and watch for a response. Okay. Surrendering in battle happens once at the very end. Surrendering on the spiritual path happens over and over, and it never ends. So surrendering to the divine in some way. Maybe that's honoring the journey. Your body always reflects consciousness. It should say reflects your consciousness. Yeah. I don't know. So there's something about that consciousness being a reflection. Okay, so which deck should I use? This one? Sedna? Okay, Sedna. High Priestess. This is the one that was left on the... Okay, so... clarify with... Alrighty, so let's see. I'm nervous about using my new spray because I don't know. I haven't used it very much. I just started, I just put it together yesterday. So, okay. The first position is, it's still 6 cards, right? Because I like that number. So to see what needs to be seen here, so I call this the shadow spread. So the mirror, the subconscious root is the first card. What's the subconscious root in this? The 4 of Cups. So it could be rejection. It could be being dissatisfied with life in some way, needing to reevaluate something. Boredom, not seeing the real from the fake. Also, it could be like materialistic, like choosing material over like spiritual, things like that. 3 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords, the Empress, and the 2 of Wands. So this could be that somebody wanted to win at all costs, was working with other people in some way to sabotage an Empress. Maybe because so in this deck, this of the bird in the window is like the real deal, but the other 3 cups are like they're not real. They're not real birds, but they're like what is the word? Where they're like shiny or flashy and things like that. So I did just do a reading about like the distraction of shiny things, so that you might want to check that one out. But if this one resonates, but the bird in the window is like the real bird. It really sings. These other birds don't sing. They just sit there. So then there was a sabotaging energy towards this Empress I'm seeing. Or maybe this is you sabotaging self, not seeing that your authenticity was kind of needed in some way. There was a path that was chosen, and it may have been a path that was not authentic in some way. But I'm seeing this as like what do my notes say here? Hold on. This could be a belief that you have about yourself. Or this is like sitting at the subconscious of your own mind. That there may be some sort of saboteur, maybe you or someone else, like trying to sabotage you. And you're having to like strategize with trying to understand the duality of it, or the path, like what do I do, that type of energy. But okay, so let's see, what is the hidden block or the shadow of this? This could be like the heavy part, what's being avoided, repressed, or what's creating an invisible friction. The Two of Swords. So, okay, so some sort of block is blocking. No, this could be a stalemate energy, like a person. So this is also self-sabotage. So again, these same cards come out. Okay. So this could be a parent. It doesn't have to be a mother, but typically the Empress is a mother, but it could be like if a male could be, in this type of energy, but where they want to receive in some way. But that's blocking because they're not doing, or I don't know. It could be that, or it could be self-sabotage. It could be like some sort of win at all costs that's blocking. I'm getting that you see this though. It says hidden block. Maybe this is like an expectation. This could be a hidden expectation that's blocking. This could be either your own expectation or someone else's. Like sometimes people will put expectations on us. We have no idea. They expect us to read their minds, and they may even say, well, you're the psychic. Like that sort of thing. Oh my god. But there's some sort of strategy in it. I don't know. Yeah, so that could be like people sabotaging, or maybe win at all costs energy, trying to create like some saboteur circumstance in either your life or someone else's life or whatever. It could be that dimming part and the mess. So a lot of times when people do stuff to us like that, and we feel like maybe victimized in some way, a lot of times we like think that we have to get back at people, or we have to like do all these what would be the word? I mean, we do have to stand up for ourselves in some circumstances, but a lot of times when we just sit back and let the universe handle it, it usually gets dealt with pretty easily. A lot of times, like, people hang themselves and you don't really have to lift a finger. Oh, that's exactly what this is talking about. So it says, I take a creative attitude toward my inner growth, my own inner growth. The universe is aware of my needs, and I will wait and watch for a response. So this is also waiting. That is so crazy. Exactly. And I do not measure myself by the external standards. The flow of life's abundance brings me everything. So you don't have to do anything. You're the Empress. Like, sit back and relax. Like, my voice is going out, but that's okay. So, okay. Now the third position is the pattern. This could be a past influence. This could be like an echo kind of energy. The Empress again. That's the third time. Okay, so the pattern, the past influence could be having to do with the mother energy. Very, very interesting. So this is like a lingering message, a pattern that is still vibrating in your subconscious. So let's see. 10 of Wands, 7 of Cups, 7 of Swords. So this could be like somebody being sneaky, casting illusions, maybe gossip, things like that. There's like an overwhelming sense of burden. And there's also this cutoff energy too. So this could be that's deep. So this is something like that maybe you've dealt with in the past, that you've had to kind of cut off this mother due to like lies, like I said, gossip, the feeling of being overburdened. Maybe you were parentified, where you had to be kind of grown before your time, like taking care of siblings and things like that. But that was like the thing back in the day, like that was like kind of the way that a lot of us were raised. Like I know my dad was raised that way. I'm not sure if my mom was, but I'm pretty sure maybe to an extent, not to the same extent as my dad, or to the same extent that me and my siblings were. But I mean, yeah. So there could be like unreasonable expectations, in a way. But this is like subconscious. This is like underneath the surface stuff. It's not something that like you would look at the relationship and think, there's nothing really to see, beneath the surface or whatever. Things look fine. But I'm getting I do not measure myself by any external standards. The flow of life's abundance brings me everything. Honor the journey. Don't rush. Experience life. Respect others. Allow messes. So, and what was the other one that we got? Your body always reflects consciousness. So yeah, and you could have illness due to like stress or things like that you kind of grew up with. Anyway, I don't know. I used to have asthma too, like where as a child, I had to go to the hospital like many times because I would have asthma attacks that I couldn't breathe. And, I grew out of asthma though. But like every time the weather would change, my lungs would, shut. Like I couldn't breathe. And, yeah, so there could be like illness, like, maybe that was the overwhelm. Maybe you didn't know that you had options to like maybe escape from some sort of situation, or like you could feel like this person or people or situations are like making it like sabotaging, or like this could be like very like sneaky, like I don't know, like behind your back, kind of maybe gossip talk, like things like taking jabs in some way. And this could be like something that happened like over time. I don't know. 7 is significant. Okay, that reminds me of something. So every 7 years, Saturn does things in your chart from like the time that you're born. Like your Saturn, I was just like researching this recently. So every 7 years, Saturn. So what happened to you at 7 years old when Saturn squared your Saturn? Like Saturn usually squares at like 7 or 8, and usually that's a harsh aspect in astrology where it causes some sort of like I don't know, karmic thing, or like something harsh that happens usually. And depending on where you have Saturn in your chart, it could be like in Libra. Mine's in Libra in the 12th house. One of my best friends died, and or my best friend actually at the time died, and she, like, I could speak to her kind of through like the spirit, like my I don't know, my thoughts became more on that plane of like the afterlife or whatever. So spiritually, I was kind of like pulled deeper into like, I guess, necromancy, but kind of, or like mediation. Mediation. Mediumship. Mediation? I don't know my words. This is mediumship, yeah. Not necromancy, and what the fuck did I just say? Anyway, that's funny. Sometimes my words don't word. Okay, so anyway, so let's see. But yeah, so every 7 years there was something that was happening. So then also when I became a teenager, like 14, I met my ex-husband. And then, so he was like the handler. If you know anything about like spiritual stuff, like you get this handler, right? And that's my belief. I don't know. That like you get this handler or person in your life that kind of is kind of there to keep you kind of stuck in this lack, in this like feeling of like unworthiness, this feeling of like I can't do anything right, So so that, but you're kind of tethered or drawn to this person, like I don't know. anyway, so at 21, let's see what 21, we had lost touch, right? Him and I, for a couple years, I think, or at least like a year, maybe. And then we came back into like communication or whatever at 21, I believe. And so it was kind of like Saturn coming back. Did you learn this lesson? Did you learn to leave this person alone? Did you learn, and apparently I didn't learn. And then at 28 or 28, I was again faced with like, you need to leave this person alone. And it kept happening until I think, so what's after 20, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 34. I think that's when I started kind of wanting to really leave. Well, obviously I know that I wanted to leave before that, but like, 30, maybe it was 36, 37, I think is when I actually was able to leave. And then, anyway, because I did leave a couple times before. Anyways, it's personal stuff, but I'm just trying to give an example. But yeah, it's basically like over time you get faced with, at 28 or 27, you go through the Saturn return, and if you don't learn that lesson, I think it will still show up every time Saturn does something in your charts every 7 years. So there's something about that. So you might want to look into it and see what's up with your chart on Saturn. And I think deeper and deeper, like every 7 years, it's been like I've been personally finding this in my relationships with other people, that there's some sort of like tower moment, I would call it, where there's a shift or transformation. Now with it being in my 12th house, it's spiritual. So usually I've been like deeper and deeper with my faith. Oh, I think I do know. I think it was 34 or 35. I started researching like Jesus and really got into like what religion, like researching that religion, like really getting into it, like to the point of like I was fascinated and like reading stuff and like watching movies and like documentaries and stuff like that, just to see like what was the real deal about it. Anyway, so that was another thing that was kind of, I was drawn to it. And then I don't know. Now I'm, doing this, so I don't know. Anyways. All right, the next thing is the catalyst, the bridge. So the key, this is the aha moment. So what conscious realization or event is needed to bring the hidden factors to light or fruition? So the devil and the 8 of swords. So it's the Ten of Cups, King of Cups, the Hermit, and the Ace of Wands. So there's some sort of wisdom, creativity, new ideas, possibly. This could have to do with family and like emotional maturity, growth in some way in that aspect. Also fulfillment. But this is about being self-imprisoned by toxicity. Maybe realizing your power in some way, that you're not stuck. That sometimes you do have to be, the bad guy, to overcome that shiny cage that we kind of, I always call it, that pretty cage that we think that we need to kind of make everybody happy. I just saw 1-3. So that mirror, like, so this is also the bridge. It's everyone so I know that, like, I'm not the only one who's experienced things with my family, that, we're the scapegoat or the black sheep in some way. Like, and not just in my family I grew up with, but also in my family of, like, my marriage, like, so it's a pattern that kind of sometimes we, if we don't get to the root of it, we kind of have to go through it over and over again. Saturn kind of actually, I think that's the job of Saturn, is to kind of make, bring those things to light and, like, make it known to us. Anyway, it's seeing there's a bigger picture, I think. It's also doing the inner work, like introspecting with the Hermit here. What was my shit and what was other people's shit? Like, I was thinking earlier when I was walking my dog, I was thinking, so a metaphor. If I put my trash in your yard, the universe sees me putting my trash in your yard. If I'm doing that to sabotage you in some way, the universe only sees that I put my trash in your yard. The universe doesn't care, like, about ownership or, like, like the perceived ownership. Like, if other people see that trash is in your yard, the universe sees that I put it there. There's, like, a truth to it, that, like, the universe sees that I put my trash in your yard, not that other people are seeing, oh, this person, so it's like two different, like, viewpoints, like, where I can see the trash is in your yard right now, but the universe only cares about who put it there. Like, it doesn't care if your yard is messy. So maybe that's allow the messes. So that's what I meant. I think I started on that little topic about, like, we don't always have to do something to shift perceptions of, like, other people's mess, or, like, I don't know. So there's something about that. So it's about introspection. Like, I also have to know, like, my part in things, like my actual part in things, like, not the part that I want people to believe. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's like a real true story and, like, what you want people to believe sometimes, and there's something about that. So that's like the key element to shifting your perspective, shifting from being stuck in your head about something. Like for me, a lot of that self-doubt and feeling powerless came from like me taking on other people's perspectives of me and not realizing. So like one of the things that, how do I say this? So sometimes people will take something that they know about you, like something about like maybe your past or something like that, some kind of issue that you went through, and blame you for it, right? Like say that like it was your like maybe say like your family had whatever, I don't know, problem or whatever, then as if it makes you responsible in some way. Like this could be like something that like you had absolutely no control over. You were a child. like when a good example is like when they did the trials for Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, like there was a whole thing of like they brought up Johnny Depp's childhood and like his mom and how he was treated by his mom, and somehow that was supposed to like shift the audience's view or the jury's view of him in some way. But what the fuck did that have to do with him? He was a child. Like obviously I know that like you grow up in situations and it kind of can skew you in some ways, but I believe like a lot of times, you know, most people, if they have a good head on their shoulders, they will grow up and be different than their environment, or allow their environment to kind of shift them into a better perspective of life. You know, not everybody grows up to be a serial killer just because, you know, their family was fucked up or something, you know, like, so I said all that to say, like, there's people who actually will try to make you out to be something that you're not just because you went through something, and or just because you used to do something, or you used, you know, like and the opposite can be actually true, you know, like also I'm not saying forgive everyone for like, you know, people don't change and some people do change. So it's really about discernment regardless of the situation. So there's that. And that's the emotional maturity and the wisdom. It's about seeing, I feel like the light of situations and not just making it like whatever we want it to be, like whatever justifies our own bullshit in some way, you know. Anyway, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what is the resolution or action here? Six of Pentacles, yeah. So the Six of Pentacles is about, I'm getting charity, resolution, or action. So in this, steps to take now to integrate findings into physical resolution, right? So be charitable in some way. Okay, so we're not reacting, we're actually giving grace in scenarios, but also keeping your peace. Like attracts like. Also, the laws of the universe, if you study the laws of the universe, nobody gets away with anything. It's always going to come back to that person. So just like I was saying, like the universe sees me putting my trash in your yard, not the trash in your yard, and that's it. There's something about reaping and sowing, harvesting. We have to understand like what we're cooking up in the spiritual, right? So like, so we have the Queen of Pentacles, Ten of Cups, Queen of Swords. It's about also that liberation of self, like free from the burden, maybe, because we're able to be or find happiness within our value, like our own journey, our own value, our own. I do not measure myself by any external standard. The flow of life's abundance brings me everything. So this is the Queen of Pentacles, Ten of Cups energy, and also the Queen of Swords, because the Queen of Swords has the ability to see through, you know, I know that's not my trash, and you know, you being able to say that's not my trash in the yard, but I'll pick it up, or maybe I'll knock on your door and say you need to come get your trash, you know, out of my yard. You know, it's being discerning. It's understanding, you know, there is like give grace, but also that reciprocity is needed. Otherwise, it does block out what's meant for you in some way. Okay, so let me see, Four of Swords, Cups. Okay, so I'm just seeing what I missed here. So subconscious, root. So so what we're seeing in the outer reflection is the inauthentic showing up as like the trap, and the toxicity is like maybe obsessive thinking, maybe toxic thoughts, those thought patterns of not being good enough, like those things that created doubt within you, where you know you should be shining because that's your authentic self. Like you should be shining, not dimming yourself. And there's a need to see yourself as the authentic person, not so much as the way that other people may have been, especially this Empress person trying to kind of dishonor you, maybe not respect you. Maybe shun your experience in some way. maybe rushing you to kind of be, more mature, more, which great, but like, let me be a kid sometimes, like, I don't know. Maybe you weren't able to be a kid and you were rushed into being more mature or whatever. But life was already hard for you, so it's like, what the fuck? I don't know. Like, people sometimes, maybe parents don't realize how hard they are on their kids. I don't know. Anyway, so, but there's reciprocity in all things, and I think the resolution here would be to give grace, but in a way that protect yourself too, but like give grace if you're able to give grace. Okay, so the outcome. What becomes available once the resolution is integrated? And giving grace. Okay, once we give grace, how does that what becomes available, or what changes take place, or what becomes available here? So the Seven of Swords. I don't like that one out. Okay, so some people you can't change. I'm seeing this as like, she's still gonna lie on you. Like, this Empress is still gonna lie on you. That's crazy. But, or you can escape some sort of, maybe you're creating a new beginning or creating an escape. I don't know, escaping the cycle. We have the Four of Swords, Four of Pentacles, and the Eight of Wands, King of Cups. Okay, so you're gonna have to be mature emotionally and just realize that there's sometimes that people don't change, but you're protected. 4-4. Heavily protected. You still get a victory. There's still forward movement in some sort of situation. Like, you're gonna have to protect yourself with boundaries, but you need to be at peace. Like, that's what this is saying, that regardless of what happens, like, you can still find peace find peace in the situation and move forward. And just know that you kind of escaped, like you dodged a bullet in some way. Oh my goodness. This is a shadow spread, but dang. Okay, so let's clarify. Actually, I don't know if we need to, but clarify 4 cups. So the 4 of Cups is clarified by the 3 of Cups. So, I'm seeing this is like the 3 cups here. So celebrating the authentic self. Oh, okay. So this is groupthink. So yeah, this may be like, obviously, like, people when they gossip to someone else. So this is that groupthink. This is what's showing up in. So what I'm seeing is, like, behind your back, like, you're this little bird right here. You're being your authentic self, and like the this person could be this Empress person. gossiping, with the people. And then I'm seeing this as like like it's still gonna go on. And I mean, I don't know. There's some people who just won't shift their perspectives, and that's okay. Let them be over there. Stand your ground. Like, you're protected regardless. Now what this person's about, and the universe takes care of it. So just like I said, they can put things in your yard all they want, but the universe sees the actions that they take against you, not necessarily like what they're gossiping about. Like, what they think the issue is that they can gossip about you, Like, it doesn't... I don't know. Clarify the Two of Swords. This is the hidden block. So the Ten of Swords, yeah. So, okay. So, the hidden block is, and the shadow is you realizing, like, this person betraying you. Like, you can see that this is a stalemate energy. This is not a person that you want in your life. And they reap what they sow in this matter. Like, this is not something that you're going to invite back into your life, So this is Seven of Pentacles, 6 of Wands, 8 of Pentacles, and the Death card. So this is transforming the situation into like a lesson of ego, right, for you. So you could defend your ego all day long. Is it going to get you anywhere? And is it really a positive thing or outcome after all of this ish is like said and done, right? No, for you, you have to realize kind of where it's coming from. Like, this person was hurt probably the same way and was gossiped about, and that's kind of how they maintain control in some way. So mastering the self is kind of more important than the ego and how you're seen by other people. It's kind of taking the wisdom from the situation and being the wise elder who kind of sees through it and transforming and alchemizing the situation so that it's not affecting you or hurting you. It's like, okay, I see you for who you are, like, and I block you from knowing anything about my life, so, or even not even just that, just not giving a shit, anymore. Like, just, you're not able to be who, I would need you to be or whatever. So it's okay to set boundaries, and not have a relationship, Okay, so what's being avoided is maybe looking at the situation. So, but what we have to do is look at our own part. And our own part is like sticking around, or like just allowing it to go on and being bitter about it, or like not putting those boundaries up would be our part. So no longer telling, details of your life to this person or whatever it is. I mean, it could be something totally different. It doesn't have to be what I'm talking about, but I'm seeing this. It says, this is just an example of it, Okay, so the Empress, clarify the Empress. This is the echo, pattern, past influence. clarify the Empress. So the lingering message or pattern that is still vibrating in your subconscious. So this could also be you overgiving. The Two of Swords again. And the Ace of Wands. Okay, so new ideas. So I, instead of masking and being okay with like being treated badly, or like maybe you're not okay with it. Obviously we aren't okay with like being treated badly, but we kind of put up with it in certain situations because it's family, or it's like somebody we like or love or something like that. It's knowing that we are the creator. So what we accept is kind of what we get. So teaching people how to treat us, right? Also healing those wounds, the ego wounds, and doing the inner work instead of allowing other people to kind of put us on the back foot in some way. It's setting those boundaries, making sure that we're honoring our true self and how we feel about things, and not allowing people to hurt us over and over again and expecting, like you're not going to feel good about yourself. You're not going to feel, fulfilled in those types of relationships. So you have to kind of move out of it. Otherwise, you're always going to get what you always got, You have to change something. So anyway, so the pattern, that's the pattern. Masking. Allowing, no longer allowing, putting boundaries up and saying no. Okay, clarify the Eight of Swords and the Devil. So this is about the past. I don't want to get that many. I just want one card. This is the catalyst, the key, the bridge. Like what conscious realization or event is needed to bring these hidden factors to light or fruition. Mastering your mind. Mastering your fucking mind. And that's powerful right there, because I've been saying this type of stuff. So it's about and the Three of Swords reversed. None of these other cards are reversed, so that's important to hear. It's about healing self, and it's about healing the mind, and about realizing the toxicity of patterns, and like the way that we sometimes create our own prisons by the things that we accept, and the way that like we allow our mindsets to kind of just ruminate and like stay stuck. The Ace of Swords. So the Three of Swords reversed, the Ace of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Strength card. It's definitely overcoming and following your intuition, your heart's desires, understanding your truth, and having clarity about, what this Three of Swords was. So obviously, if you're being stabbed in the back or gossiped about or something, by somebody that you care about, you're going to feel some type of way about it. You're going to feel hurt. But it's understanding, like, where that comes from. Understanding, like okay, what to do to not just sit in it. Like, do something and really actually changing a situation, and not just allowing it to kind of continue. It's also knowing like your part in it. So that's your only part in it. Usually like, yeah, it's not that you're like, so you can stop doubting yourself, and even if you do have a part in it, like we all have parts parts to play, but like owning your side of the street, keeping your side of the street clean, and allowing, other people to kind of own their own shit. And if they don't, move away. Like, that's, we're not waiting all day or like hundreds of years for other people to get their own side of the street clean. We're cleaning up our yard and that's it. Do you know what I mean? Because the universe takes care of the rest, and that's kind of like the next thing. Okay, so action, resolution, steps to take now to integrate findings into physical resolution. That's the third time we got that. Okay, so reciprocity, right? So, okay, if you're gonna hurt me, I'm gonna walk away from this situation. There's some sort of escape that's needed. 6 of Swords, the Fool, new beginnings, the Star, healing, Page of Swords, learning. There's some sort of truth that you got to speak up and say, this is my truth, and that's this is how I feel about the situation. And if you care to resolve it, great. If not, bye. Like, I'm not gonna sit here. So, and you may not even have to say anything, but there's, I don't know, it's different for different situations, obviously, but clarify the 7 of Swords. But the action is to kind of go away from here. Go away from it. Destiny. Page of Cups, 3 of Swords reversed, Knight of Cups, Strength, Knight of Swords, and the Devil. But that's too many. Clarify the 7 of Swords. This is the outcome, the horizon. So what becomes available once the resolution is integrated into the physical? And we got the 7 of Swords, which... So we do have the Ace of Swords, clarifying the 7 of Swords. So you understand also your value, and like the clarity of it and the truth of it is that you can escape this situation regardless of how people do or don't change. There's a responsibility for me as a person, as an individual, to either individuate or stay kind of in the cycle, right? But it's not an obligation that other people change, right? It's kind of their own journey, right? So we have to honor other people's journeys too, and understand that we don't dim. We just move on. Like 6 of Swords, 4 of Cups, 7 of Cups, and they can stay stuck in this illusion. But maybe they're dissatisfied with life. Maybe there's a need to realize that you are needing to be authentic in some way and reevaluate the situation, or maybe they need. So a lot of times when we move on, people do look at, like, introspect and look at themselves. Like when we move away, when things are lost, or that sort of thing happens, it just depends on the situation. But a lot of times when you move away, they'll introspect and they'll see, but it's not a guarantee. A lot of times people are stuck in illusions or stuck in fantasies or some kind of I don't know. It's hard for people, like, so maybe to unground, maybe they're stuck in a fog. Does that make sense? So like maybe they're ungrounded, they have ungrounded emotions, so it fogs their clarity, so they're not really clear on their part of things. Maybe the way that they grew up, the Hermit just slid out. Spirit's like, yes. So yeah, so there's definitely something about that. The way, dang, that was so creepy. The Hermit. So yeah, it's the way that other people kind of grow up, and the way that they, you know, have seen, like, a lot of times people learn through the examples of other people and like what they've seen in their lives. So they take on those things from like a parent or sibling, or like, you know, what they've seen. So it's, you know, and you have to kind of honor their journey as well. And sometimes we can't even be mad because like, it's like, I get it, but, you know, I still didn't deserve whatever, you know. And like if it's a parent or something, it's like we deserve to have, you know, I don't know, good parents. But, and that should be like a given, but it's not. It's the reality of things. So anyway, that's what I got. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.